Hi guys, Mark here for KetoKitchenCollection.com, and today's question is, how long will it take me to lose 20 pounds of fat on a keto diet? Okay, so first things first, let's take 1 pound of fat. In that 1 pound of fat, there's 3,500 calories worth of fat, okay? So let's say you've got, each day you have a calorie deficit in your diet and what you eat of 500 calories per day. Over the full course of the week, that'll add up to 3,500 calories of deficit for the entire week. So there's your 1 pound of fat. So you could kind of calculate it out that if you have the 500 calorie deficit per day for a week, you'll lose 1 pound per week. Moving on from that, if we double it and go to 1,000 calorie deficit per day for the entire week, we'll end up with 7,000 calorie deficit overall for the entire week, which is 2 pounds. So you could assume in that case you'd lose 2 pounds per week. So if you're losing 1 pound a week, it's going to take you 20 weeks to lose that 20 pounds. If you're losing 2 pounds per week because you've got 1,000 calorie deficit per day, and we'll discuss that more in just a moment, 1,000 calorie deficit per day, 2 pounds per week, it'll take you 10 weeks to lose those 20 pounds. Now, it's not always as black and white and cut and dried as that, and we will discuss that and unpack it in a bit more detail in just a moment. What we're going to talk about now is the practical application of having a certain amount of calorie deficit and a certain amount of exercise so that you can build it into your lifestyle and make it as easy as possible to get as fast a fat loss as possible in as shortest amount of time possible. So let's say you reduce your calories by, say, 500 to 750 calories per day from what you would normally have just to maintain a normal healthy body weight. So if you want to find out for yourself personally, for your specific situation and you as an individual, what your calories should be to maintain a healthy body weight, there's a link in the information below. It'll take you to my calorie calculator table. You can put in your gender, your age, your activity level, and it'll tell you exactly what your calorie amount should be per day on a keto diet, on any kind of diet, to maintain a healthy body weight. So that's your starting point, okay, when we're talking about these calculations. From there, reduce that amount by 500 to 750 calories per day. So if your amount happened to be, when you look on the table, if your amount happened to be 2,250 calories, if you reduce it by 500, you're down to 1,750. If you reduced it by 750, you'd be down to 1,500 calories per day, okay? So that gives you an idea on the amount of calories you should be having to start that weight loss. That's certainly if you're at 1,500 or 1,750 calories, man or woman, that's going to be perfectly fine for you when you're on a weight loss diet. I've been a bit lower than that. It's worked fine for me. A lot of people out there have been a lot lower than that, and it's worked fine for them. I wouldn't always recommend that for everybody, but 1,500 to 1,750 calories per day for weight loss is a perfectly fine start. Now, let's incorporate some exercise. Excuse me. Exercise, if you want to incorporate about 250 calories to 500 calories worth of exercise, because once you incorporate that with the calorie reduction, you're ultimately aiming for around 1,000 calories total a day of calorie deficit, which we just spoke about, and exercise. So aim for around 1,000 calories a day, okay, of that energy expenditure and deficit combined. For me, if I get on a stationary bike and go reasonably hard for 45 minutes, I can lose about 300, excuse me again, I can lose about 350 calories. So you pretty much need to incorporate that every day. I would suggest using the same equipment, whether it's some kind of Fitbit or heart rate monitor or a specific treadmill or elliptical machine or stationary bike or rowing machine, whatever it is that you do, stick with that particular one so that you've got a constant reading of how many calories you're actually burning. The reason is that each machine's a little bit different. It's not an exact science figuring out how many calories you're burning when you're doing any of these things. So if you can keep it consistent on the same machine as often as possible, the same technology as often as possible, then it'll give you more consistency in your progress moving forwards, okay? So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please post in the comment section below. Happy to answer any questions you have. So what we're trying to do here is get 1,000 calorie per day deficit, or expenditure that our body has to pull from our fat stores. So if you've got, say, 500 calories or, say, 750 calorie reduction in the diet, your body is going to have to feed your metabolism, is going to have to pull 750 calories worth of fat off your body and burn it and utilize it as fuel. If you're then adding in another 250 calories worth of exercise, if you go hard on the treadmill for half an hour or 25 minutes, whatever it might be for you to get those 250 calories, well, your body's still got to pull that from somewhere. It's going to pull it primarily from the fat stores, okay? That's how you're going to lose the weight with 1,000 calorie total deficit per day, which includes the exercise and the reduction in calories from food. That's how you'll get 7,000 total calorie reduction over the course of the week and a 2-pound fat loss per week, which means those 20 pounds will melt off you in about 10 weeks, okay, which is just over a little bit into 3 months, so 2.5 months thereabouts, okay? Now, like I said before, it's not quite as black and white as that. It'd be nice if it always worked out as exactly as just throwing those figures out there, but everyone's a little bit different, okay? So, for example, hormones play a part. If you're in ketosis, it can be a bit more beneficial in terms of the hormonal profile for you to lose that weight more effectively. Some people just have a better hormonal profile, okay? That comes down to genetics, which was my next point. Some people will genetically just lose fat a lot easier than others. It's not fair. I wish it wasn't the case, because for virtually everyone, it's never easy. But just understand that it's not, you might do the same thing as your best friend or a family member, and you'll have exactly the same food and exactly the same exercise regime, and you might have slightly different results. Maybe you'll lose a bit quicker, maybe you'll lose a bit slower. At the end of the day, though, this is an excellent place to start. You need a target to start at, and it just because of the fact that you think you might not be able to lose as quickly as someone else, or you're unsure as to if you'll actually lose all this weight in 10 weeks exactly, don't let those not confusions, but those worries or concerns stop you from starting. Just start. That's the big point. Take that first step, make a start, figure out where your calories should be for a healthy body weight on the link below, the calorie calculator table. Minus off 500 to 750 from that, and hit those calories each day for the next 2 to 3 months. Throw in half an hour to 45 minutes of exercise per day. You really need to do it per day to make sure you get that 1,000 calorie deficit per day, and you will come pretty close to losing 20 pounds in around 10 weeks. So guys, hopefully that's all made sense. You can come at it from a fairly, I guess, a sciencey and calculated point of view once you start to break down exactly how many calories is in a pound of fat and how much time you need and all that sort of thing. So if you do have any questions with regards to that, as always, please post them in the comments section below. I'm more than happy to help you out in as much detail as you need to make sure this works for you. If you got any enjoyment or value out of the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.